Hi, my name is Bob Warach, and we call this series The Docket. We'll be discussing legal issues that affect the borderland and often the country as a whole. Our hope is to present these issues in a clear and concise and understandable format, but as always, I need to make the disclaimer that neither I nor anyone else involved in the program is giving legal advice. These programs are informational only and hopefully will spur conversation about the topics we discuss. For those of you who are new to our viewing audience, I want to let you know that we tape our programs at the El Paso Community College television studio and depend on the college not only for the physical space it provides, but also for the intellectual and educational support it gives us. So thank you, EPCC, and let's get started. Welcome to all of our viewers. My name is Bob Warach, and we're back on the docket. We developed this series to discuss legal issues and programs that affect our community. Today we're going to be speaking about El Paso Municipal Teen Court, a program that perhaps not enough people in our community know about. We're lucky to have Judge Michelle Morales, who is in charge of the program, and Lorey Flores, who is the coordinator of the program. Additionally, in our next segment, we're going to have two of the teenagers who participate, Ashley Alaniz and Fernando Morales. So let's get started, and we'll start with Judge Morales. Tell us about the El Paso Municipal Teen Court.
Good morning, Bob. Well, Teen Court is a statutorily created court under the Code of Criminal Procedure. It's not mandatory, so a city does not have to have a teen court, but they are allowed to have a teen court under the Code of Criminal Procedure. And basically what it is an alternative disposition for a teenager who may have gotten a Class C citation.
Which is what?
Class C citations are the lowest level of criminal offense in the state of Texas. They are punishable by a fine only. They can range from traffic violations such as a speeding ticket, a no driver's license ticket, or non-traffic offenses, which for juveniles usually range from a curfew violation, minor in possession of alcohol, it could be a theft, the lowest level theft offense under $100. So all those Class C citations are under the jurisdiction of either a municipal court or a justice court. And a teen court can be created in those two types of courts so that we can deal with these juvenile offenses. Traditionally, the main option is for them to plead guilty or not guilty.
And who do they make that plea to?
They would do it to the original court of jurisdiction. So I'm a municipal court judge here in the city of El Paso. I handle most of the juvenile cases. I have original jurisdiction over them. They would come to me when their case is set, and then I would inform them of all their options, one of which is teen court. We strive at municipal court to give our juvenile offenders options so that at the end, their case ends up getting dismissed.
So they have no record whatsoever?
No record whatsoever. That's our goal. We don't want mistakes made as a youth to follow them on through the rest of their lives. So we really strive to give them options, not only so that they don't have any sort of conviction on their record, but so that they can have a positive experience with the criminal justice system. And teen court is one of the options we give them.
Do parents have to be involved in this?
They do. Texas law requires that a parent accompany a juvenile to all court hearings, parent or legal guardian, so we do have them be part of the program.
So it can only be for kids up to the age of 17?
Right. So actually in Texas, you are considered an adult if you were to be charged with a crime at the age of 17.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not 18. In Texas, it's 17. So anyone who gets a ticket from the age of 10 all the way up to 16, Class C citation, traffic or non-traffic, could opt to do teen court. Now, of course, our law enforcement agency in the city is the police department, so it would be a ticket issued by the El Paso Police Department.
When you say 10, I mean, that's kind of shocking to me.
Right.
Do you have 10-year-olds come through?
I don't know. Maybe that would be a question for Lorey. Who would have been our youngest offenders?
Yes, we've had a theft incident.
The other thing is, this is a city program, correct? Not a county program.
Correct, right. So in El Paso, teen courts have existed on and off throughout the years. But what happened a few years ago, Texas law changed where Texas law enforcement could no longer issue citations on school property. And when that happened, we had a big plunge in juvenile citations. So the teen court that existed at the time just didn't have enough cases. We've adjusted now the way officers deal with juvenile offenders. We've adjusted, the schools have adjusted. We now reach out to the administrators. And so our numbers are not back to where they used to be when officers were issuing on-campus citations, but we do get our fair share of juvenile cases.
About how many do you?
Let's see. On a monthly basis, I would probably say we see, and this is only at arraignment docket, we would see at least 85.
Wow.
Right. And there are more waiting in the wings.
Is there any reason somebody who would qualify for this teen court, is there any reason that they shouldn't do it?
The only issue that we come upon is, for instance, a parent and a juvenile who are just not willing to put in the time.
But that would be over with Lorey, right?
Right, or they would just enter a plea of guilty and pay the fine and court costs. For me, anyways, that is the last thing I want them to do. You know, if your child was caught out past curfew or with possession of drug paraphernalia, and the actual punishment is a fine, me as a parent, what is the child going to learn from that? Because the fine and the court costs are going to come out of the parent's pocket, not the child's pocket. So that is the least desirable outcome for us over at teen court. We don't want them to just pay the fine and court costs. However, we do have parents and juveniles who come to our court who say, I don't want anything to do, I just want to pay the fine and court costs.
Wow.
We try to talk them out of it. Sometimes we can't, and there are special circumstances. We have a large military community here in El Paso. Sometimes, you know, we have a parent that's getting deployed or they're PCSing, and we do need to just do that because it's the simplest option for them. So we try to do what's best for the family. So they come to me at their arraignment, and Lorey is usually present with me at these arraignments, and her staff and interns, and we make them aware of all the options for juveniles, letting them know that what we would like the ultimate outcome to be is their case be dismissed. We let them know that teen court is an option where they will be diverted to a real court that is run by teenagers. We have a teen jury that decides the amount of community service hours they're going to perform. We have teen lawyers, both prosecutors and defense attorneys, that prepare and present the cases to the teen jury. And it is a real court hearing real cases. We let them know that we usually do them on Saturday mornings from 8 to 12. And then they will then, after they speak to me and they decide on the teen court option, the program cost is $20 per citation. I will then refer them over to Lorey, and then she will handle it from there until we get to the teen court docket, which is usually we get them scheduled usually within a month or two.
They go to Lorey even before they go to the teen court?
Right, because Lorey will inform them. She needs to tell them what their date is when they're scheduled for teen court, how they need to dress. She's really good at making sure that they're prepared to speak to the judge and to present themselves in court. That will happen after their arraignment hearing. They will get referred over to our juvenile case management department so that they can then prepare them for the teen court process.
Lorey, they're under your wing, and you prepare them to go back to the actual teen court.
Yes, sir.
And what do you tell them?
Okay, so once they go see Judge Morales and they've been granted the opportunity to do teen court, what we do is we schedule them over the phone. Again, like Judge mentioned, we go over the requirements, proper court decorum, and just set them up for their teen court session. Again, we go over the benefits with the parents and the defendant, because at that point they can also turn around and say that they don't wish to continue with teen court. But we haven't had that yet. But we do, we do let them know that they do.
So you prepare them to go to teen court, and then you're involved with them again after the sentence is pronounced.
Yes,
Is that
'cause
right?
before the process, before they do see Judge Morales, we set them up for court. We do reminder calls for our juveniles to make sure that they show up to court. After they see her, then that's when they do come back to me. We set them up for their appointment. We go over the process, what to expect, and that's it. They end up going to their teen court hearing, and that's when we have the volunteers come in.
Okay, and you said this is generally on a Saturday?
I believe we're one of the only teen courts in Texas that do Saturday hearings. It's worked for us. We get a lot of participation from not only our volunteers but our teenagers. We like it, and so I think we're going to keep it on Saturdays.
And didn't you tell me something when we were talking about the program prior to coming here about I think it was a master jury?
The thing about teen court is the statute doesn't give you any guidance on the format of your teen court. So there are lots of different ways that teen courts can be held. And if you find 15 teen courts in the state of Texas, you'll find 15 different formats. One of the formats is master jury. Now, what we mostly do here in El Paso is jury trial format. That means we present cases as a traditional jury. A trial would be presented. Master jury format is somewhat more informal. We do away with the lawyer presentation of the case, and it is direct questioning by a jury of 6 to the defendant. And the way we set that up is we usually set up a conference table. We have our 6 jurors, teen jurors sitting around the conference table. We bring in the defendant and a parent, and then the jurors get to look at the citation, and then the jurors will directly question the defendant about what they want to know, what happened, and then after they've asked all their questions and they feel satisfied, we have the defendant step out, and then the teen jury will deliberate as to how many community service hours they would like to give.
The teen has already pled guilty.
Right.
There has to be some sort of sentence. It's not like they can say no sentence.
Right. Well, that depends. We've had a couple of TV courtroom moments at our teen court where it wasn't until the trial and testimony came out that we discovered certain issues where it mitigated what the teen jury wanted to do. And so I always inform my teen juries that after they hear and that's the whole point of presenting the case to the teen juries.
Right.
They have to hear the case and how bad it was. Maybe there are some facts and circumstances where the juvenile was disrespectful to the officer. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe there's facts and circumstances that show extenuating circumstances. We had a particular case where we had a young lady who was pulled over driving late at night because she was driving too slow. And she didn't have a driver's license, and the officer gave her a citation. She opted to go to teen court. The story came out in testimony that her mother was very ill that night, and she had to go pick up a prescription, and that's why she was driving the car that night. So once the testimony came out, I made sure I let my teen jury know that they can send a message with their sentence. And they, in fact, in that particular case, came back with a sentence of 0 community service hours. So they were sending a message to this young girl saying, listen, we realized these were special circumstances, so we're not going to have you do any community service.
So they were appropriate in that.
Exactly.
Tell me what you do after the sentence is pronounced.
Okay, so once the defendant has gone through teen court and the jury has deliberated, of course they come back and then they deliver the verdict. As soon as the defendant knows about how many hours they have to do in the jury terms, that's when I, take them onto the back and we assign them their community service location. We're very flexible. We do want them to be successful in completing the teen court conditions. So for community service, they can do classes, they can do essays, they can choose events to go to. If there's like a walk, run events going on, they can opt to go there and help out, and it'll count towards community service.
And your job then is to make sure that they had completed it.
That is correct. So case management, following up with them. If they're short on hours, what can we do? Here's some essays, here's an event. They also can do counseling. And if they are receiving services like that, that can also count as community service.
Let me just do this. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, the phone number is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is 212-5843. Is that right?
That is right.
And the email is jcm as in Mary at elpasotexas.gov.
Yes, sir.
And Texas is spelled out.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a break for a minute, and then we're going to come back with two of the teenagers who participate in this. Thanks very much, guys. Welcome back, everybody. And as I promised in the beginning of the program, we have two of the teenagers joining Judge Morales here, and the teenagers are participants in the program. We have Ashley Alaniz and Fernando Morales, and I'm sure you can tell them apart just by their names. So you guys, I just want to talk to you about your experiences with the program. Ashley, let's start with you. How did you get involved?
I got involved when Judge Morales came to my school.
Which is what?
Franklin High School.
Okay.
And she gave a presentation about teen court, and I got really interested, and I applied.
And you applied to be like one of the juries or one of
Yes, there was, anything.
Because when we were talking in the other segment, the judge was telling us that there are a number of ways this is handled. Sometimes there's there's an attorney appointed for a plaintiff, an attorney appointed for the defendant. Did you ever participate like that, or have you always been on the jury?
No, I've mostly been in the lawyer part, because
Okay.
I like doing that. But we'll switch off. Sometimes we'll be jury, and sometimes we'll be plaintiff or bailiff. Sorry, yeah.
But you have a bailiff, a
Yes.
teenage bailiff also?
Yes.
Do they ever have to really do anything? Do they have to
They
jump
just,
into the middle
I've
of a
never
fracas?
been it, but I know they have to say it out really loud. What do they say?
All rise.
All rise.
All rise. Sometimes when I go to court before the bailiff gets a chance to do it, I say, all rise. And Fernie, what about you? You go where?
Well,
To high school. Where do you go?
Oh, I go to Franklin High School.
Oh, so both of you go to Franklin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then how did you get involved?
Well, I was always involved in law, and I really like the city of El Paso, so I follow all the social media everywhere, El Paso Municipal Court and El Paso PD and everything. And I noticed that the Municipal Court uploaded a video with Judge Morales, actually, and she was talking about the program and how they were in need of teenagers. And I went and told my mom, I was like, hey, Mom, look, this is awesome. So I applied, and I got an email from Judge Morales and Ms. Lorey, and that's how it started. That's how I...
And Lorey is Lorey Flores, who we had in the previous segment, right?
Yes,
The coordinator.
yes, sir.
Are both of you intending on being lawyers?
Yes.
Or you are,
Yeah.
Ashley?
Well, I'm still deciding, actually, but that would be an option for me.
And what have you done in teen court?
Well, I've been numerous times. I've been a prosecutor and defense, and we do. We have to represent the defendant or represent the city of El Paso. So that has really helped me understand how lawyers actually do their work and how the court works.
It's a little bit like moot court, where you have to take a position and convince people
Yeah.
that your position is the correct position, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you think you've gained from this, Ashley?
You gain a lot of speaking skills, speaking in front of people. You lose the fear of speaking in front of everyone, and you learn how to speak in your feet. So when you're questioning, you sometimes have to make up questions to get the story out.
How long, Fernando, how long do these segments usually last?
Well, they do vary. Sometimes we do find things in the citations that we need to ask more. We need to get more details, but they vary from, I would say, 10 minutes to 20 minutes.
And do the defendants usually take the sentence, I don't want to say seriously, but do they understand why they're being sentenced, do you think?
Sometimes it depends on the type of person and their parent as well, because
The parent is there.
the parent has a lot to do with it, because if the parent isn't very involved or taking it seriously, the child won't either.
And do you get to question the parent at all, or is it just the child?
When we do master jury, we can question the parent.
Really?
Yes.
And explain again what master jury is. I know we talked about it in the last segment, but what Fernando, what is that?
So master jury is we basically put up like a conference table,
Right.
and it's six teen jurors around the table, and then we put the defendant and the parent, and we basically take turns asking the defendant questions, and then the parent, depending on what kind of citation they received.
The jury does that.
Yes, the
and
jury
there's
does
no attorney involved.
No, there's no attorney involved.
Okay. And I just want to get back to what Ashley was saying, where you lose your fear of speaking and you think on your feet. And it's obvious because you two are very relaxed, very good here. This is not an easy thing to do, to be on television, and you both are coming across really well. It's not just, I don't want people to think it's limited to Franklin High School just because you two are from Franklin. Is it all the
Yes.
all the high schools?
All high schools in El Paso. There's a variety of high schools there that the kids come from.
And have you met people from other high schools?
Yes,
And
multiple.
is there any sort of bonding going on? I mean, do you contact them outside of this?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because afterwards we'll all talk about it when we're
What?
out.
You've never told me that before.
Not about the case,
Oh, okay.
but we just talk about.
They all go out for a beer. and then
that-
they
and
get a
that-
citation.
That's really important. Maybe Ashley or Fernie can tell you why they don't talk about the case.
Oh, yeah, why
Yeah,
is
of
that?
course. So actually, we do have to sign a confidentiality form, and we're not supposed to share any information because, I mean, teenagers are very rumors and
Social media.
Oh yeah, social media. So we don't want to get the defendants into any other I guess
Into a
predicament.
rumor mill or have people talk about them or give them a bad reputation.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're actually doing a very smart thing by taking advantage of the teen court, and you would be hopeful that after they do their community service, whatever it may be, whatever Lorey Flores had mentioned, I think they could do essays, they could do counseling, they could do community service, that they learn their lesson. I know that's a cliche, but let me ask you, maybe I'll ask the judge this question. Do you know if any of the defendants, after this has been over and after they've completed whatever Lorey set them up with, have they come back to you to ask to be a participant?
Actually, yes, we have.
Is that right?
Right now, we have about 2 volunteers that were former defendants that went through the program, and the program had such an impact on them that they asked if they could be volunteers and be part of the program. And you need to understand, our program has 2 components. We have the program participants or volunteers like Ashley and Fernie that we recruited from high schools who may be interested in studying law. And then we have the teenagers who got a citation and we call them the defendants that are referred to the program. So those are the 2 components. And for me, when you have a defendant who has gone through the program and they've been affected by the program and they now decide that it's something they want to do, for Lorey and I, there is no greater compliment.
Oh, that's incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
And not only that, the kindness that our participants have shown them. You know, we train them. I don't want anybody out there to think that we throw them into the fire. We run with the school year. And so once we get all our applications in, which usually happens May, June, July, August, in late August we do training where they learn basic trial advocacy skills, We have a lot of lawyers from the community who come in and train these kids. So they start to build a network of lawyers that they know in the community. That's one of the other positives of the program. And they learn how to do basic trial advocacy skills. And then in September, we start scheduling our first teen court cases. And you know, at the beginning, everyone was nervous and not sure what to expect. And now we're finishing our last month before we take our summer break, and these kids are pros, and they've gained so many skills.
Yeah, well, you can tell that from just talking to them. But what happens to the, quote, defendants who get citations in the summer? Are those just held over till the school year starts again?
We do, yeah. We try to hold them over. Lorey keeps a queue or a list of juveniles who have been cited, and then they will be set for the next teen court. And then we now have 2 sessions. We do our Saturday sessions, and we're thinking of adding a weeknight session so that we can do master juries as well. So that's how we handle it. They get lots of training. We do Christmas time. We also try to give them training during the break. And they themselves seek out the training. My husband is also involved in the program, and he's a fantastic.
He's an attorney, right?
He's an attorney. Yeah. Leonard Morales is a trial attorney here in town, and he's always giving the kids tips and tricks on how to get stories out and how to get a defendant or a witness to open up to you. And they learn so much, these kids. And, you know, we always tell them, you need to understand, you know, someone's coming into this program not sure what to expect, and we need to show them acceptance, and we need to show them kindness, and they do every single time.
And do you guys recruit it? I mean, do you go to your friends at high school and say, this is a great program, this is something you should investigate?
I do, actually. When I first started, I went to my law class, and I told them all my whole class that I'm in this program, and I recruited 2 people.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
And are you in the law class also?
Yeah, well, I was in the law class with Mr. Lott at Franklin, yeah.
I didn't realize. So there's a magnet law program at Franklin?
Yes.
Right, and then there's the original magnet law program is out of Americas High School.
Okay.
And that one is called Libertas, and we also recruit from them, from Pebble Hills.
I was going to ask you, so you recruit from every high school?
Everywhere. You know, it's also a great opportunity. We have a few homeschool kids.
Oh, great.
Homeschool parents are always looking for opportunities for activities for their kids, and we have 2 or 3 homeschool kids that just love the program as well.
And it helps socialization for them because
exactly.
And Judge, I have a couple of questions, but first, you just determined you wanted to do this, right? I mean,
well, when I got elected, I was approached by another teen court program, and that's something I am very passionate about. I love to be a mentor to our youth. I think, you know, they're the future, and we need...
Well, looking at these guys, you're doing a good job.
I hope so. We need to make sure that they have all the skills because we leave our world to them, right? And so what happened was I wanted to be involved with youth in some way. The original teen court program that we wanted to work with didn't work out, and Lorey and I quickly realized that there was no reason why a city the size of El Paso should not have a flourishing teen court program run by the city itself, because these are rightly our citations. These are the citations over which we have jurisdiction. And so by the seat of our pants and lots of support from administration over at Municipal Court, we launched our program. We did, it was May last year, and we were trying to get into all the schools before they broke for summer. And we thought, we're gonna have 10 applications. We ended up with 85 applications. Right now we have a running roster of about 50 to 60 kids that come on a
terrific.
On a usual basis, yeah.
Well, I want to thank all of you for coming. I want to thank Lorey Flores, who isn't sitting here with us right now, but I think this has been extremely interesting, and when it runs on TV and then it'll go on to YouTube, it'll be used for more, what's the word I want?
Interest, promotion.
Yes, promotion. That's the word I want, more promotion. So thank you all for coming, and I congratulate you for being a part of the program, and I especially congratulate you, Your Honor, for running the program.
Thank you, Bob. It was a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.